ESPN has officially demoted longtime announcer Doris Burke. I know a lot of you want to throw a party right now because Doris Burke is basically impossible to listen to. And it's okay to say that. It's okay to have that opinion. For so many years now, companies have been terrified to do something like this because she's a female. Let's read the article and let's talk about it. ESPN officially demoted longtime announcer Doris Burke. ESPN has officially demoted longtime announcer Doris Burke. Burke has covered basketball for ESPN since 1991. She became a full-time in-game NBA analyst for ESPN in 2017, making history. And I'm not here to trash Doris Burke. I'm saying, as a preference, it's okay. It's fine. Because this is the reason a lot of these hires are made. To be the first ever. You know what I'm saying? Just last year, there was a whole female broadcasting team on an NBA game, and it was the first time in history. And it wasn't good. Are we trying to do first time in history stuff, or are we trying to put out a good product? She made history again in 2024 when she became the first woman to call the NBA Finals as a television analyst. But Burke's run as an in-game analyst for the NBA Finals and ESPN's #1 broadcasting team has come to an end. Months after NBA fans called for her firing during the finals, the worldwide leader in sports has officially demoted her off the #1 broadcasting team. Wow. NBA fans called for her firing during the NBA finals, and ESPN listened. Andrew Marchand of The Athletic reported on Thursday morning, August 28th, that ESPN is replacing Burke with Tim Legler. The latter is a former NBA player turned analyst. Legler, 58, played in the NBA from 1990 to 99. He's known for his three-point shot, winning a NBA three-point contest at All-Star Weekend in 96. Legler, who lives in Washington, D.C. area, began working for ESPN in 2000. He's worked on a number of shows, including NBA Shooter on NBA Fast Break. Now he's getting to work on the #1 broadcasting team. Tim Legler is fantastic. Tim Legler is, as just stated, a former NBA player. But the way he breaks the game down unbiasedly and analytically, I think Tim Legler is one of the best personalities on ESPN in general. And one of the only. I think Tim Legler is one of the only ones left that's actually analyzing the game and actually knows the game and isn't just out here spouting hot takes. ESPN is demoting Burke but promoting Legler. Legler will join the longtime play-by-play Mike Breen and Richard Jefferson to the finals. I think that's a fantastic NBA Finals team right there. Jefferson recently agreed to a new contract with ESPN after working his first finals in June. Burke was on the finals team for 2 years, becoming the first woman in history to be an analyst on one of the traditional 4 major American sports. What's in store for Burke? So here's what I want to say about it, man. ESPN is finally tired of ruining their own company to appease the internet, to appease a small group of extremists. Okay? Let's call it what it is. Because you're pretty soon going to hear from the feminists. You're pretty soon going to hear from the feminists about how wrong this is and about how bad this is and about how evil ESPN is for doing this. But the crazy part is the feminists aren't watching sports, bro. Like, are we running a business? Or are we trying to appease all of these little groups on the internet that get all pissed off all the time about stupid shit because they live in a first world country? They don't really have anything to be pissed off about because basic survival needs are met, you can drive to the store and buy groceries. There's nothing really for people to be mad about in the United States, so they make shit up like this. But ESPN saw over the course of a couple of years a major decline in viewership, and it continues. And it's partially because of new generation and the way the new generation is taking in media in short form TikTok or podcasts or YouTube. And, you know, kids aren't watching live TV. Let's call it what it is. My 10-year-old doesn't even know what live TV is. But I would say over the past 5 or 10 years, ESPN has made decisions to appease groups of angry people on the internet versus actually making smart business decisions and hiring the person who's best for the job. And it's not just ESPN. It's been companies for the last 5 or 10 years who have chosen political sides, who have, you know, went all fucking vaccine and all this shit. ESPN's attack on Kyrie Irving over the vaccine, all this shit. They've openly chose political sides out of fear of being canceled. That's what ESPN has been doing for 5 or 10 years now, maybe longer. And Doris Burke, I'm sorry, in my personal opinion, is horrendous to listen to. ESPN put her there because they don't want the feminists talking about why isn't there a woman on the panel. I don't want to hear a female announcer. It's okay to say that. I want y'all to know it's okay to say, I don't want to hear a female announcer announcing male sports. I don't want to hear it. It's okay to say that. Nothing against her. I think it's because it's a male sport. Men grew up playing the sport and watching the sport, and the passion for the sport being called live on TV, it's just not going to sound authentic if it's not a man. The majority of people watching the NBA finals are men. I don't even have to get the numbers to tell you it's probably 90+% men. Men don't want to hear a woman announcer. I'm sorry. I would love to be proven wrong, but every time I've heard a female announcer, it sounds forced. It doesn't sound authentic. It sounds like she's trying too hard. It sounds like she's trying to compete with the men. It just doesn't sound authentic. It sounds like she was put there for a reason outside of actually being the best announcer for the job. And that's exactly the reason. So this is a much bigger step for ESPN because there is a lot of bad analytics, of bad coverage going on in the ESPN world. I mean, bro, Monica McNutt went viral for the clip where Drewski was on the show with a backwards Deion Sanders jersey, and she said, is this a reference to Shedeur Sanders? She didn't know that a fucking Lions Sanders jersey is Barry Sanders. What did I say? Deion Sanders? Barry Sanders. I'm trying to roast her for that, and I said the wrong name also. But she didn't know that a Lions Sanders jersey is Barry Sanders. It's time for these companies to stop putting people in positions to check a box and just give the viewer what they want, which is put the best person for the job there. I don't know how well this is going to go over, but we're going to see. But anyway, ESPN demoted Doris Burke